Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I'll be reading a multi-character exterior by me. So let's get into it. Child. Child's actually really cute on many occasions. He's a silly little guy sometimes. So maybe he'd be cute whenever he was seeing children. It's the way he would always be a little bit more gentle with them, completely abandoning his harbinger personality and all the battles and sparring sessions on his mind. Instead, he would take them to get some sweets, buy them toys, have conversations with them, and play with them even. He was kind, and sometimes he'd be so fond, because he'd make such a great father, and you keep dreaming about your family with him. And sometimes he would worry, but after seeing him like this, he knew that he would never have to worry again, because Child was perfect husband and father material. Child was just like that. Perfect all around. There wasn't really anything wrong with him. Honestly, he could make anyone jealous like that because he was just so perfect and adorable too. Albedo. Albedo's actually really cute sometimes. And maybe you would see it more when he was gardening. It was kind of weird, since he lives in a place that's kind of inhabitable, but he knows how to garden, and he likes it, especially when he's with Mondstadt. It's easier to, you know, plant things without them dying or freezing to death, and he looks so happy when he's doing it. Sometimes his hair would be braided, and he would look so young, so different, and so stress free. He's not the chief alchemist. No, he's just your Albedo, and he's gardening in your garden right now, with Glee talking to the flowers. As you watch him quietly, so happy that you managed to get him as your man. Because honestly, you couldn't have picked anyone better. He's just too good. Honestly, too good to be even real. And you felt so lucky and beyond happy that he was yours. And that you of all people in Mondstadt get to keep him. Venti. Venti is actually weird sometimes, chaotic at best, and sometimes utterly just a storm of things that you didn't know, things you didn't understand, and wild. He was something new, always, and you're more than glad to explore him in every way. Explore his mind, his thoughts, his emotions, and seeing his smiles and hearing his laughter. It made it all the more worthwhile, and you were more than happy to be with him. Sometimes, though, the simplest moment between the two of you would make you more than happy to be with him. Like maybe when he would take you out to go on a special place, which was just a spot with a lot of dandelions. But you enjoyed it there, as he would wrap his arms around you, and then you would look into his eyes, and you'd have this adorable smile, like he was so happy to be doing this, and the two of you would be blowing dandelions, watching as they flew into the air. Sometimes, Winter would even make them rotate around you, giggling. And in those moments, you wouldn't be focused on the dandelions, or his powers, or anything like that. You'd be just so happy to hear his laugh. And the way he looked so genuinely happy, he was more than adorable. And you were so glad that you got to hear his laughs. And the way he was so happy like this, in a way that no one else in the world could. Kazuha. Kazuha was adorable without even trying. But with you, his shyness and the way he was so overly polite sometimes would make me even cuter. Let me explain. Kazuha and you go on dates a lot because he doesn't want you to feel like you weren't dating for real or anything, and he knew dates were important, but sometimes he would just take you in unique places with the only food that he made, and then he would give it to you, all shy. explaining all his thoughts behind it and why he picked that specific place for you to go in. And he'd be so happy listening to him. And you could see that he was sharing a vulnerable part of himself. Because sometimes the place would be about his childhood. Some place he used to go to as a kid and play there. Or maybe a place that had a serious pastime where he would spar with a friend. But the cutest thing about it all was the way he would talk to you, looking at the floor like he was shy or something, blushing until you would give him a nod of approval, telling him just how much he liked the place he picked. Scaramouche. Scaramouche was actually cute sometimes. A lot of the time, actually. And mostly because of how nervous he was. Sometimes, he wouldn't know how to deal with basic things, and that itself was adorable. Like the first time he kissed. He didn't know what kisses were, and he was so confused when he said the word. Like kisses? Just what are those? But then, you tell him you'll show him, and he trusts you so easily. And you just cup his face in your hands, leaning in and kissing him. And you get to see the blush slowly blooming onto his face. And as you do it more and more, you could still see his blush all the way to his ears. And whenever you would kiss him, he would always look a little bit starstruck, like he was so confused, not believing that this was even real. But it was the best part about kissing him, the stunned look on his face, and the cuteness of his blush. And you were definitely going to do this more and more. Also finding more ways to embarrass him as time passes by in your relationship. Xiao. Xiao needed to do nothing special to be cute. He was already at the maximum amount of cuteness. But something that he noticed was more cute than usual was when he would look at you, wanting a hug. He would never be brave enough to say it. He doesn't just know how. But he'd be always looking longingly at you because he wanted you to do it first. He just didn't know how to ask and didn't have enough courage to do so. So he'd keep waiting and waiting, and sometimes he'd even be shorter with his words than usual, pouting and sulking away, until you would wrap your arms around him, and he would melt into them like a puddle. It was the best feeling in the world. And though he knew it wasn't what he didn't tell you right away, but he knew he would do it in his own time, and you just have to be patient until he could come around to tell you what he needs. For now, you're going to do your best to try and provide all the affection you could give whenever he needed it.